Welcome to the Greenwich Township Land Use Board Reorganization meeting. Flags.
There it is. They moved the cheese.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Paul Beam, Class 1.
Here.
Joseph Cicello, Class 2.
Here.
Frank Marchetta, Class 3.
Here.
Ray Buckwalter, Class 4.
Here.
Bruce Williams, Class 4.
Here.
Kathy Coleman, Class 4.
Here.
Don Marie Condas, Class 4.
Here.
Mark Scuderi, Class 4.
Here.
Gary Hill, Class 4.
Here.
Joseph Fiamma, Alternate 1.
Here.
Jeremy Blunt, Alternate 2.
Here.
Bill Cognac, Alternate 3.
Here.
Pam Peslis, Alternate 4. And Board Attorney John Drill.
Here.
Township Planner Beth McManus.
Here.
Township Engineer Mike Finelli.
Excuse. Yeah, before you go on, we have some reappointments that we have to do, and so I handed out 5 oaths of office. I'm going to ask everyone who I handed that out to please stand up. Right, so if you're a member of the Environmental Commission, that sure appears to be incorrect, but the appointment comes from the Township Committee, so you have to straighten it out with them. I would agree with you. If you're a member of the Environmental Committee and you're the Class 2, your term should be 3 years, not 1 year. That's my understanding also. But for now, let's get you sworn in like this. So everyone, raise their right hands, and what I'm going to ask everyone to do is, I'm going to ask you to say "I" and state your own name, and then read that together, so we don't have to do it 5 times. And when we get down to the bottom, read your particular office, and then after everyone has taken their oaths, then hand them up to me. Sign them, put your address on them, then hand them up to me, and I'll notarize them. So, you ready? I...
Planning board member. Term expires 12/31/19, according to the best of my knowledge.
Congratulations. Sign them, put your addresses on them, and then send them up to me.
We need to work on the harmony a little bit.
It was stereo, all right.
Is your idea?
Yeah, I know. Save some time. Okay, so you have your new members sworn in, so why don't you continue with the agenda?
So now we are electing the chairperson.
So she's asking for a nomination for chair.
Yeah, nomination.
I'll second that.
Are there any other nominations for chair?
So roll call.
Yep.
Paul Beam.
Yes.
Joseph Cicello.
Yes.
Frank Marchetta.
Yes.
Bruce Williams.
Yes.
Kathy Coleman.
Yes.
Don Marie Condas.
Yes.
Mark Scuderi.
Yes.
Gary Hill.
Yes.
Joseph Fiamma.
Yes.
Jeremy Blunt.
Yes.
Bill Cognac.
Yes.
Pam Peslis.
And go
You actually do
Oh,
call
I
me.
do call.
Yeah.
Oh, Ray
I'll vote
Buckwalter.
no, just so it's not...
You think the
Oh, you
President of
call.
the United States doesn't vote for himself? Come on.
Okay, now Ray takes it over.
All right, now you're off the hook. Moving through, we'll get hopefully the reorganization done pretty quickly. I need a motion for vice chair. Oh, for Bruce, yeah. That's wasn't clear. Second, do we have any other nominations? We have a second, so we have a third? No, I think we got it, but that's okay. We'll take a third, we'll take a fourth. Hearing no other nominations, roll call vote?
Paul Beam.
Yes.
Joseph Cicello.
Yes.
Frank Marchetta.
Yes.
Ray Buckwalter.
Yes.
Bruce Williams.
Yes.
Kathy Coleman.
Yes.
Don Marie Condas.
Yes.
Mark Scuderi.
Yes.
Gary Hill.
Yes.
Joseph Fiamma.
Yes.
Jeremy Blunt.
Yes.
Bill Cognac.
Yes.
Pam Peslis.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Bruce. Motion carries. Appointment of board attorney. I will nominate Mr. John Drill as board attorney. Hearing no other nominations, roll call vote.
Paul Beam.
Yes.
Joseph Sotelo.
Yes.
Frank Marchetta.
Yes.
Ray Buckwalter.
Yes.
Bruce Williams.
Yes.
Kathy Cullen. Don Marie Condas.
Yes.
Mark Scuderi.
Yes.
Gary Hill.
Yes.
Joseph Fiamma.
Yes.
Jeremy Blunt. Bill Cognac. Pam Peslis.
The next,
Thank you very much.
you're welcome. The next order of business is our engineering expert. I did have a correspondence with Mr. Finelli, who couldn't be here. He's excused tonight due to a conflict. He assures me, a redundant email exchange actually, that he would accept the nomination. So he's not here, but I will nominate him as
No.
township engineer.
And I'll second him.
Are there any other nominations? Hearing none, ask for a vote.
Paul Beam.
Yes.
Joseph Chitello.
Yes.
Frank Marchetta.
Yes.
Ray Buckwalter.
Yes.
Bruce Williams.
Yes.
Kathy Cullen.
Yes.
Don Marie Condas.
Yes.
Mark Scuderi.
Yes.
Gary Hill.
Yes.
Joseph Fiamma.
Yes.
Jeremy Blunt.
Yes.
Bill Cognac. Pam Peslis.
Just rolling right along.
He thanks you, by the way.
Okay, E, planning expert. I'm nominating Beth. What's the name of your new firm?
It's Kyle and McManus Associates.
Would you prefer we nominate you as the firm or as...
You should appoint me as part of Kyle McManus.
Okay, I'm nominating Beth McManus as part of Kyle McManus as our planning expert. Thank you. Hearing no other nominations? If anybody has any other ideas, you're going to have to
Yeah,
jump in, because I'm not going to delay the things here. Hearing no other nominations, call for a vote?
Paul Beam.
Yes.
Joseph Chitello.
Yes.
Frank Marchetta.
Yes.
Ray Buckwalter.
Yes.
Bruce Williams.
Yes.
Kathy Cullen.
Yes.
Don Marie Condas.
Yes.
Mark Scuderi.
Yes.
Gary Hill.
Yes.
Joseph Fiamma.
Yes.
Jeremy Blunt.
Yes.
Bill Cognac.
Yes.
Pam Peslis.
Thank you, everybody. Happy to be here for another year.
Awesome.
Welcome back.
Thank you. And a brief hiatus.
New shingle, groundhog day. Okay, so next order of business is nomination for board secretary. I will nominate Susanna to continue as board secretary. Second. Hearing no other nominations, I'll ask for a vote.
Paul Beam.
Yes.
Joseph Chitello.
Yes.
Frank Marchetta.
Yes.
Ray Buckwalter.
Yes.
Bruce Williams.
Yes.
Kathy Cullen.
Yes.
Don Marie Condas.
Yes.
Mark Scuderi.
Yes.
Gary Hill.
Yes.
Joseph Fiamma.
Yes.
Jeremy Blunt.
Yes.
Bill Cognac.
Yes.
Pam Peslis.
Just an agreeable bunch. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Newspapers for publication. Do I have to read this whole thing?
Let me see.
Well, it's the newspaper, so
No.
we have to identify the
Just have to
newspapers.
identify them.
Newspapers are
Courier News.
the Courier.
And we have the Express Times and the Star Ledger. Sorry.
Okay.
Express Times and Star Ledger.
So official business for the Land Use Board will be advertised in the Express Times and the Star Ledger.
Correct.
Uh,
As another newspaper. as
Need a
well.
motion to approve? And a second? You decide who gets what. And the roll call vote?
Paul Beam.
Yes.
Joseph Chitello.
Yes.
Frank Marchetta.
Yes.
Ray Buckwalter. Ray.
Yes.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Bruce Williams.
Sorry.
Yes.
Kathy Cullen. Don Marie Condas. Mark Scuderi. Gary Hill.
Yes.
Joseph Fiamma. Jeremy Blunt.
Yes.
Bill Cognac. Pam Peslis.
Okay. The next order of business is the calendar for 2019. I'm going to, after speaking to several people, I'm going to make a motion that we move the meeting back to Thursdays for 2019. We have a few people who said they would prefer that.
The second Thursday.
Second Thursday, yes, I'm
I think
sorry.
I've already got that.
Our professionals have all said that they are available on the second Thursday, so I'm making a motion to move the meeting to second Thursday
There might be a conflict with Rome.
with,
There's already a meeting being held here.
yeah, we can they move?
I can speak for all of us, sure. I don't think. You see what the dates are. Second Thursday. Well, no, I don't think they can.
Yeah, well, I would agree. Can we ask them to move to Wednesdays?
Second Wednesday?
Well, there's a meeting tomorrow, so
It could be
we
discussed.
could discuss it, try to move it. I don't have a problem with it, I just don't know about the other members.
Yeah, I had a few people that have expressed interest in going back to Thursdays, and I know for people that travel, it's very difficult to have the meeting in the middle of the week. It kind of blows your whole week.
How many people are on the committee, the commission, environmental commission? Open space, I mean, how
Open
many?
space.
Open space.
Yeah, there's nine.
Nine.
And we have 13.
Take the date, and then if we have to adjust it,
We'll
we'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
Okay.
Do you
So
have
you
second
have-
Thursday's dates that someone can read?
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you read it slowly so we can write them down?
Are you guys all right with that? You okay with that?
No, I'm not afraid with it.
All right, hold on.
It's not so much that I'm not, that I can't move my schedule,
Yeah, I mean,
because I don't want to speak for all the other people that are on there. We spend so much time,
Yeah, I know.
so if you vote it now, my answer's no. So, again, I'm only one of them. So we can-
How do we do this? Is there any way we can do this tentatively? I mean,
I don't know. I
I
think
mean,
Who's the chairman?
Aware that there was,
Who's the chair of the open space committee?
that's going to be decided tomorrow, probably.
Okay, my suggestion is this. Set it for the second Thursday, take a vote, it might not be unanimous, but for next month, have it Wednesday and Thursday, just in case there's a problem after tomorrow night.
we have to adjust it. Okay,
Right.
fair enough. So we read the dates for Thursday, but for February, read both dates into the record in case we have to move from one to the other.
So it would be either February 13th, which is Wednesday, or February 14th, which is Thursday.
Right, so we're not saying or, we're saying in February, we're going to have a meeting set for the 13th and the 14th. If the 14th is clear, 13th will be canceled. If the 14th is not clear, it's going to be on the 13th, and on the 13th, we'll have to redo the rest. But then now read the rest starting in March, only using the second Thursday date.
March 14th, April 11th, May 9th, June 6th, July 11th, August 8th,
Slow down.
July 11th,
Yep.
August 8th,
Yep.
September 12th, October 10th, November 7th, December 12th, November 7th.
7th.
Huh?
Second Thursday, 14th.
November, because the League of Municipalities is moved up.
Right. We move it up a week to the first.
I'm looking at this too, this is the proposed meeting dates for open space, and that should be fine. That should be fine. There shouldn't be a problem with that. Tomorrow, we're just meeting on the second Thursday, because we couldn't get there. So everything else is going to be the first Thursday.
All
I
right.
wonder
so-
why nobody brought it up when I asked that, though. I asked, and nobody sent
So we
it.
don't need February 13.
Just 14th.
What's the second Thursday in December?
And
No,
this,
it's November was the question.
Right, it's November 7th, because the League of Municipalities is November 14th. So what's the second Thursday in?
December 12th.
Okay, and then we have to pick the reorganizational meeting for 2020. What's the second Thursday in January of 2020?
The 9th.
1/9/2020. So
So
tho-
November 7th would be a conflict based on this, but it's so far out.
We often end up moving that because of the league anyway, so we'll punt. Well, if nobody's here, how many people attend the league? It's the governing board mostly. Frank, are you there?
yeah, the problem is the governing body and it's your professionals.
Yeah.
The professionals attend the meeting.
Right. So unless there's a fire, we're probably not having a meeting during the league.
I'm going to make a motion to adopt that schedule that we just set forth on the record.
I thought I did that, but I'll make it again just to make it abundantly clear.
Did someone second it?
I'll second it.
Paul Bean,
No.
Joseph Totelo,
No.
Frank Marchetta,
This is for the Thursday, right?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
second Thursday.
there a reason why you guys vote no? Just,
I won't have a comment. And with that being said, I know it affects other members of the land use board.
oh, well, so
And I'm surprised that this is happening without having any kind of conversation.
I can make it Thursday. I mean, if we have a schedule like we did last year, I might, I can miss something else
you
once or
can't make
twice.
Thursdays.
But Thursdays are usually,
So that would push it out to
especially the second Thursday,
resign
because that's
if you move to
usually.
Thursday, is that what you're saying?
If
I'll
we,
vote no.
if we have a meeting scheduled like we did in 2016, every single month, yeah. What? Or 17. But last year we didn't have that many meetings.
I'll vote no if you have to.
And I'm going to vote no based on the second Thursday. So that's also unity.
Okay, thanks. Let me know.
Okay.
Cool.
Ray,
Yes?
Bruce Williams,
Yes.
Kathy Cullen,
Yes.
Don Marie Condis,
Yes.
Mark Spadari,
Yes.
Gary Hill,
No.
Joseph Fiamma,
Yes.
Jeremy Blunt,
Yes.
Dale Cognac,
Yes.
Pam Peslis.
What was that vote?
Yes.
Correct. I want to do that vote one more time.
Can you read that back for John?
So Paul Beam was no. Joseph
Let's
Chitello
go
was,
slow,
was no.
okay?
Frank Marchetta was no.
Okay,
Ray Buckwalter was yes.
yep,
Bruce Williams was yes.
yep,
Kathy Cullen was yes.
yep,
Don Marie Condis was yes.
yep,
Mark Spadari was yes.
yep,
Gary Hill was no.
okay,
Joseph Fiamma was yes.
yep,
Jeremy Blunt was yes.
okay.
Bill Cognac was yes. And Pam Peslis was yes.
Okay, so technically, we're doing all these appointments, everyone's voting. But technically, under the MLUL, only the regular members can vote on anything unless someone's absent. So I'm going to eliminate the alternates from that vote, which would eliminate 4 yeses. What we're left with, 5 yeses and 4 noes. So the only question I'm going to ask you is that your final answer, or do you want to do something else?
No, we can open it up for discussion, but I think if it carries, it carries.
What was the reasoning for the shift in the first place?
A couple people mentioned to me we wanted to shift the meetings to Thursday. Personally, it's better for me because I'm traveling, and if I have to do it on Wednesday, it shoots the whole week. I'm not going to ask other people to, I guess, unless they want to. I'm not going to name names, but I had a few other people who also mentioned the same issues.
I mean, last year, it was always on a Thursday. Last year, Paul was the one that surprised us and said, let's go into Wednesday. I have a travel schedule that I could adjust, but I can't, because it's in the middle of the week, it's been hard. So I personally wanted to go back to Thursday myself because of that.
It was always
It was
Wednesday
always
through that.
Thursday. It was always
No,
Thursday. Yeah.
Well, at least my first year, I'm not sure that, right.
Right.
It doesn't really matter when it was.
When it was the Board of Adjustment, it was Thursday. When it got consolidated, the first year of the Land Use Board, it was Thursday. Then it switched to Wednesday. Those are the facts.
My first year.
Last year, it got switched to Wednesday, right? Prior to that, it was always on Thursday.
On Thursday. It's just on the schedule.
No, I'll see, I mean, that's why we have alternates also.
Yeah.
So if I miss a meeting or two, that's
I
going
would
to
have resigned, because
Yeah.
even when it was on a Wednesday, you have scheduling conflicts. You're there when you're there, and you're not when you're not. Please don't resign.
Yeah, I'm not asking anybody to resign, we're just trying to,
That's the date of our union meeting at work.
Every single month,
What's that?
every single month.
Yeah, Thursday as a whole.
with 13 people, we're probably never going to find a perfect solution.
So I can make adjustments to make it work. And if I find that I can't,
Joe, you don't have a car?
then
Oh, no, just on Thursdays, we have to drop in the car also.
Well,
I can get here.
I
I'll get here some way or
I
I'll
can
walk.
pick you up.
We'll get you here,
When it's warm enough, I'll walk.
we'll get you here.
You can go down the street.
What? No, leave it there.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll get you here.
Okay, so if no one wants to reconsider this thing, that it's 5/4, it's the second Thursday, and the dates have been read into the record. Okay?
All right, moving on. Charge for meetings, minutes and agendas. Do we want to read those, just to summarize what they are?
Yeah, you can summarize it.
You have the motions. You don't have to read the whole thing. In fact, you can give it to me. My first rodeo. So copies requested, the charge is $20 to defray costs. That includes agendas, copies of agendas, to be mailed, $20 charge. Copies of minutes to be mailed, $20 charge. And those are fixed charges, that'll be the charges for 2019. This is for mailing, so all of this stuff is available on the website, I believe, anyway, correct?
Correct.
And if someone insists that they have to have something mailed to them by the clerk, that defrays the cost of copying
Yeah,
and
this
mailing.
definitely incentivize everyone to
Use
go
the
in.
website.
Right.
Yes. So I need a motion to adopt the fees.
Question on it before, is that within reason of surrounding counties?
No,
Low, are we high?
that's pursuant to the municipal land use law.
Okay.
I think what he's
That's what they're allowed
asking
to
is, are
charge.
we on par with the
Oh.
towns around us? I don't know that.
I don't know, put it this way, those are the maximum you're allowed to charge, and if you ask, I thought you were going to ask, in the last 5 years, has anyone requested it that way? No.
I wanted to make sure we weren't
Yeah.
low ours.
No.
All right, I'll motion to approve.
Second?
Joseph. Paul Bean,
Yes.
Joseph Totella,
Yes.
Frank Marchetta, Ray Buckwalter,
Yes.
Bruce Williams,
Yes.
Kathy Cullen,
Yes.
Don Marie Condis,
Yes.
Mark Scuderi,
Yes.
Gary Hill,
Yes.
Joseph Yama,
Yes.
Jeremy Blunt,
Yes.
Bill Conyak,
Yes.
Pam Peslis.
Okay. So the last reorganization, item J, is adoption of the rules of procedure, which is what, 30 pages long or more?
Yeah, and it's basically, the 2018 rules, unless anyone has any proposed amendments, would be adopted as the 2019 rules.
I think Susanna was going to recite those into the record from memory. If anyone has any questions on the rules, they're published every year, so I would suggest that, there's no changes from prior years, so.
Correct.
Since there's no changes, we don't have to spend too much time on it. I'll need a motion to approve them.
Second.
Roll call?
Paul Bean,
Yes.
Joseph Totella,
Yes.
Frank Marchetta,
Yes.
Ray Buckwalter,
Yes.
Bruce Williams,
Yes.
Kathy Cullen,
Yes.
Don Marie Condis,
Yes.
Mark Scuderi,
Yes.
Gary Hill,
Yes.
Joseph Yama,
Yes.
Jeremy Blunt,
Yes.
Bill Conyak,
Yes.
Pam Peslis.
I'm going to move the agenda around because we have a closed session scheduled next, but we have people from the public here, and I don't see any reason, unless John has a disagreement, that we can't move through the regular agenda, so you folks don't have to go out, stand outside, come back in. So we'll go ahead and we really don't have a lot on the agenda, but we have, the next item then, when we come back from closed session, will be the approval of the minutes from October 10th. I need a motion to approve, or any comment first, sorry. Are there any comments on the minutes before we do that? I wasn't here, so. If no one has any comments, corrections, omissions, then I'll ask for a motion to approve the minutes.
And that would have to be by somebody who was here, and those who were here are
I'll make that
listed.
a motion to approve.
Thank you, Jeremy. And you were here. All right.
I'll second it. I was here too.
Do a roll call, John?
Yep.
Bruce Williams,
Yes.
Don Marie Condis,
Yes.
Joseph Totella,
Yes.
Bill Conyak,
Yes.
Kathy Cullen,
Yes.
Joseph Yama,
Yes.
Pam Peslis.
Okay. What we had under new business this evening, and this is something that Frank had asked us to put on the agenda, was a conversation about how some of the statutory housing things that the township is faced with are affecting us going forward. I talked to John about that a little bit the last couple of days, and I think that's totally an appropriate thing for this board. In the land use function of this board, that's totally an appropriate thing for us to be taking up. It's kind of, what's the big picture, and let's think about the future. So I think that's actually a really good idea. And then, as I think about it more, I think what we're really talking about is probably a master plan revision. In other words, whatever we did as part of that conversation would eventually, our work product would be to somehow amend the master plan in order to take the recommendations of this board and memorialize them so that it becomes our guiding principle.
Well, today specifically, I spoke to Ray when he asked me about that. The last periodic re-examination that was done was 2012. So what the MLUL requires is a minimum of every 10 years, a re-exam. So the next required re-exam would be 2022. But
That's to have it done.
that's to have it done. And so it makes sense to, start it, and so my suggestion is wait until we finish with this affordable housing thing. Wait until we wind up with our judgment of... The current round. Wait till we wind up with the final judgment of compliance and repose for the third round, and then start in with a master plan re-exam. You don't have to wait 10 years.
Yeah. Would it be okay if I explained to the board what I was trying to express to them?
Sure, because I might not have captured it
Okay,
100%.
yeah, that's fine. I was thinking about longer term, right? So the next round, the way the property is, the way the town's currently zoned, it doesn't look like there's ever going to be any residential coming in, especially where the market is. I think the only residential zone we have is 28 acres.
Under the current economy, is what you're saying.
In the current economy, but regardless, it's 20 acres only, okay? And now what we're faced with is this round, and especially the next round, is what we're ever going to get in this town is going to be affordable housing. We're never going to get higher-end homes. So there's kind of an equation going on, right? We have a certain amount of market rate, we have a certain amount of affordable. As time goes on, if we don't bring in higher-end homes or market rate homes, the affordable scale starts to rise, and the market rate scale starts to lower, and that equation starts to, I don't know, maybe we're at a good enough balance where we could absorb that. I'm not saying we should do anything. I'm just saying maybe we need to start thinking about the way we think about future residential build-out and how we want to handle future affordable housing. Do we only want to bring in affordable homes in the next round, or do we want to start considering maybe bringing in some market rate homes to offset it? So it's just a brainstorming thing, everybody thinking. I'm not saying we should or shouldn't do anything, but I think we have to start thinking about it maybe a little bit differently. I think maybe this town could be ahead of the curve, because I think a lot of towns are going to be facing this. A lot of towns are going to be faced with the same thing that we're facing, which is all they're going to get, because the state is forcing them, is affordable homes being built in the town. And how do we handle that? How do we attract high-end homes? What can we do? Maybe there's a way we could think out of the box. Maybe we can set the standard for the rest of the state. I don't know. But I think we got to start thinking about how we're going to bring in higher-end homes if it's even possible. So that was what prompted it.
Yeah. And I think that's actually, I think it's important to think ahead. I think, kudos, it's exactly what we're supposed to do as a land use board. And when I, like I said, when I take that and I fast forward it to, okay, what comes out of that is probably a new master plan to say, okay, here's what because we can't.
If we want to change anything.
Right.
Maybe we need to decide that.
So that's,
It's better just to keep the way it is.
John pointed out to me that from a strategic point of view, it might be dangerous to have too many public conversations while we have all of these things going on with the third round, because
Understood.
we're kind of, lifting our skirt with developers and other people that don't necessarily want to do that at this point. But I think as we get through the third round, and looking at the timing of our current master plan, we got to have a new one by 2022 anyway. It would probably be totally appropriate to, maybe establish a subcommittee to start the preliminary work on the next master plan. And I don't say that lightly, because it's an expense to the township to do a master plan.
Yeah.
But if we have to have another one done in 10 years anyway, then the timing seems to fit, that we would start that sooner rather than later when the third round COA is done and in the can, so to speak. So, does that make sense to you?
Yeah, that's fine. That's all fine. I'm good with all that.
Okay, then I don't know if there's anything that we have to do as a result of this agenda item other than to I
No,
guess we,
you just discussed it. You had a discussion. No, Frank wanted to start the discussion, start everyone thinking about that, and then that's the advantage of having a discussion, and you thought of the idea to...
well, Frank and I had a discussion, and you chimed in. Is there anybody else on the board that wants to make any comments before we just...
I think this is a good idea, and I think there's other also ideas that also kind of come under that umbrella, which I think, to your point, is too premature to talk about it in public, but maybe during a written section, we could, think about making a list of these type of ideas, so then we can discuss through it after the third round is indicated.
So who's volunteering to be on the master plan subcommittee? I got two, three. Can you
Let's take names.
take names? Get them written down while their hands are up.
So it's got to be less than, it's 4 people. Look at this, that's perfect.
Perfect.
Master Plan Committee?
Master plan
Master Plan
subcommittee.
Subcommittee. Let's, for the record, Michelle, Marquetta, I saw
Frank,
Scudera, and Condis, right?
Yes.
Perfect. No good deed goes unpunished, Frank. You're welcome. Okay. I think that concludes the public agenda. We have a closed session, the purpose of which is, I'm sorry?
Yeah.
To discuss settlement of a lawsuit, an old lawsuit, actually, right, from
Yeah, O'Dowd versus Greenwich that was filed in,
2014?
no, 2011 it was filed.
Okay.
But action may be taken upon return to open session on the lawsuit. So if anyone wants to hear what action, I can publicly, before we go in, when we come out, let's just put it this way. This is a closed session where I do not anticipate that the minutes are going to be closed session minutes. This is a closed session where I anticipate when we come out, we'll put right into these minutes what happened in the closed session.
So you're going to give us advice
I'm
as
gonna-
our attorney that's confidential, and then we're going to come out and,
Correct.
barring anything unusual,
Right, I will just say that the township committee already, in public session, authorized the mayor to sign a settlement agreement, which he has.
okay.
And the planning board was also a defendant in this lawsuit. It'll also say that under the settlement, the township wouldn't pay 1 penny. And the lawsuit would be dismissed with prejudice. The lawsuit was already dismissed without prejudice. But I want to take you into closed session, explain what's going on, make a recommendation, then when we come out of closed session, then if
So let me ask you a question, and we'll check. Does anybody here intend to stick around and come back in after we come out of closed session?
That will be in the minutes and will be posted after you come out. Those comments will be posted in the minutes.
Yes.
on the
Yes,
website.
but it's possible that there's something that would be confidential that wouldn't be in the minutes. He's saying and most likely there wouldn't be, but we don't know
Right.
for sure, because I don't know what he's going to tell us.
Right. For example,
No.
yeah, if by chance we went into closed session and there was either a disagreement or I had to do something else first, then if we came out and there was no action, I would say that, no, we're not saying what went on in the closed session. That would not be revealed until after the lawsuit's done.
Frankly, you wouldn't be open next
So,
Tuesday anyways.
before I ask for a
Right.
motion, I'll just say, if you're going to stick around, stay close, because I don't think this will take long, and then once we're done, we'll come and get you. But unfortunately, once we have a motion and second and a vote to go into closed session, we have to clear the minutes. I apologize. So I need a motion to go into closed session. And we got Dawn made the motion, Mark seconded. Do I have to do a roll call, or can we just do a...
Do a roll call.
Okay, roll call vote.
Paul Bean?
Yes.
Joseph Sotelo? Frank Marchetta? Ray Buckwalter?
Yes.
Bruce Williams?
Yes.
Kathy Cullen? Don Marie Condas? Mark Scuderi? Gary Hill?
Yes.
Joseph Yama? Jeremy Blunt? Bill Cognac? Pam Peslis?
Bill, I was going to ask you, can you be the guardian of the door?
Hodor?
Not going to jump in the gun or anything. Don't sign them until they vote, but I don't want to leave here without these.
Nobody
Is
there?
anyone home?
All right.
So, in closed session, this is for the minutes. So in closed session, I briefed the board on litigation titled O'Dowd Associates and Brian O'Dowd versus the Township of Greenwich, the Greenwich Township Committee, and the Township Planning Board. And by the way, you have a copy of this that I sent to you.
Yeah.
And it's docket number WRN-L-75-11. This was the 2011 lawsuit I was telling you that was in closed session, which I now put on the record, an open session that was filed against the Township of Greenwich and the Land Use Board, and it had claims that the January 10th, 2011 Farmland Preservation Plan element of the master plan that the planning board had adopted was arbitrary, capricious, and unreasonable. And it had damage claims that the rezoning from 2006 and related to what the Board of Adjustment did when it denied the Warren Solar application had the effect of taking the O'Dowd property. And there was a settlement entered into, I think in 2013, right before after the case had been given a trial date, and there was a voluntary dismissal of the lawsuit to allow time for the county to preserve the O'Dowd property. And that dismissal without prejudice was extended a couple times, and finally, the county preserved some of the property, and the township's insurance carrier, who was defending the damage claims, offered to pay to the O'Dowds $50,000 in exchange for O'Dowd converting the dismissal from a without prejudice to a with prejudice dismissal. And board members asked me questions in the closed session, which are attorney-client privileged questions, which I couldn't answer without the confidentiality, but after being asked those questions and answering them, it's my understanding that the board is in favor of authorizing its chairman to sign this settlement agreement that provides for what I just explained. And so at this point, I'm going to ask someone to make a motion to authorize Chairman Ray Buckwalter to sign the settlement agreement, which was already signed by Mayor Bob Barsney on behalf of the township, which sets the stage for the carrier to pay the $50,000, and then for O'Dowd to file the dismissal with prejudice. Someone want to make that motion?
I motion that we authorize Ray Buckwalter to sign the settlement agreement.
Second.
Who seconded it?
Joe.
Joe. Let's get, just to dot the i's and cross the t's, a regular member to second it.
I'll second.
Okay, Frank, okay.
Roll call. Roll call, right?
Yep.
Paul Bean,
Yes.
Joseph Chisella, Frank Marchetta, Ray Buckwalter,
Yes.
Bruce Williams,
Yes.
Kathy Cullen,
Yes.
Don Marie Condas,
Yes.
Mark Scuderi,
Yes.
Gary Hill,
Yes.
Joseph Yama,
Yes.
Jeremy Blunt, Bill Cognac, Pam Peswick.
Sign away, my man. Now, while Ray is signing this, do you... No, sign it today. Let's see, what is it? January 9. If people want an update on the status of the affordable housing litigation, then we would have to go into closed session because there are some attorney-client privileged information I have to give and advice that I have to give in closed session. So, by a
I'll
show...
make a motion to go into closed session so we can discuss the...
Thank you for cutting that short. Do we have a second? All in favor? Opposed? Machine's off. Okay. We're back in open session. Having discussed the affordable housing update, now I need a motion to adjourn.
Adjourn. Motion to adjourn.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries. Thank you all.
Happy New Year.